Immerse in the profound wisdom of the Shandilya Bhakti Sutras, ancient verses, revered as a pinnacle of devotion and spiritual awareness. Under the guidance of His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda, plunge into the infinite ocean of this revered scripture. Discover its hidden truths. Embrace its transformative power. Awaken to new realms of divine love and spiritual awareness. The depths are calling. The deeper you dive, the more treasures you'll discover. And now, Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, bestower of immortality. And adorations to the divine self in each of you. In the Shandilya Bhakti Sutras, presently Sutra number 24, where Sage Shandilya gives his insight on a particular statement made by Krishna in the Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham mad bhaktena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mata. First he describes that a yogi is one who is integral, who has well developed his personality by karma yoga, by dhyana yoga, by jnana yoga. And such a yogi is dear to me. But even among all those great yogis, whoever turns to me with devotion along with faith, he is best suited to me, is dearest to me. So little doubt may arise for people. The doubt is that having practiced all that, characteristic of your advancement is based on your Shraddha, faith, Shraddhavan. But Shandilya points out that we turn to the other word, bhajate. Along with faith, you must develop devotion. Bhakti term and bhajan related. Bhaj is the Sanskrit root out of which bhakti term has evolved. So therefore, Gita does not stop at faith. I will explain to you more detail. But turns your mind to the word bhaj, bhakti, which means all your sadhana must end up with para-bhakti, supreme devotion. If you have not developed that devotion, then you may be very advanced and doing wonderful. Any advancement is great. But if you want to reach the highest, the goal of all scriptural teachings, Shandilya says, that's possible only when you have developed para-bhakti, supreme devotion. Tasyam tattve chanavasthanat. This 25th sutra. If devotion were the same as faith, then there will arise the fallacy of regressus ad infinitum. If you say faith is devotion, and then quote scripture, as I have quoted, Shraddhavan bhajate yoma, then what you are trying to say that faith will lead you to faith. And that will lead you to faith. And that will lead you to faith. Faith is not the beginning and end of the spiritual process. Faith moves mountains. Simply moving mountain is not the highest attainment. And this particular section ends with another sutra, which is Brahmakandam tu bhaktau tasyanugyanaya samanyat. Brahmakanda is same as Bhakti Kanda because of a common attribute. The attribute is sequence. Karma and Jnana. Shandilya divides the scriptural teachings in two sections. Most people call it Jnana, but Shandilya proposes it should be called Brahmakanda or called Bhakti Kanda. Because Jnana term suggests to people a strenuous process of intellectual exercise. That alone is not sufficient. It can be a part. It is a part of devotional movement. Mr. Shandilya brings in a lot of different materials compared to Narada's Bhakti Sutras. But ultimately they are saying the same thing. Now let me explain to you regarding Shraddha, faith. Raj Yoga Sutras gives you a further extension to this study. If you have faith, but faith must be satwic faith. Faith can be rajasic, tamasic, satwic. Satwic faith allows your mind to turn to God. Rajasic faith allows your mind to turn to various attainments in the world of time and space. Glorious attainments. Abhyudaya, all type of progress, glory, expansion. That's rajasic. Tamasic, which is rajasic, can go both ways, in a positive and negative way. But tamasic insists on negative. A Rakshasa is more natural as a Rakshasa when he does something negative. He does something positive, lukewarm. I'll expand on this. If you have Shraddha, Shraddha will lead you to virya. Virya implies that inner spiritual strength that enables you to control your moods, your temper, or your inclination to doing anything negative. In a simple way, someone shouts at you or insults you and you want to over-insult the person. Why should you be less? And generally it is counted as strength, but that's not strength. Virya refers to that real strength that brings you closer to your deepest self. A rajasic strength takes you away. And if you develop that type of subtle strength, then you are able to handle a profounder truth about yourself. That truth is you are a soul. Mind that you are using now is packed up with the memories of this life. This is just a drop in the bucket. What about countless lives and so many memories you had? So, with increasing strength within yourself, it requires a strength, shake off illusions from the mind. Strength of a different type, not muscular strength. And as that insight develops, you go one step further. Who am I? Firstly, I am eternal soul, a soul that cannot be destroyed. And secondly, as a soul, I'm a ray of God. God is a sun. And thirdly, a ray cannot be separated from this. I am this. This process is the satwic memory. Memory plays a great part. Whatever memory captivates your mind goes on thinking about. Maybe so many years back, when you were just children playing with toys, you suddenly remember by seeing the face of someone, he broke my kitty cat. He broke my toy when he was a small child. Remember those. Or you can fancy, lead yourself into memories. For majority of people, that's the strange predicament. If you have not practiced sadhana in a proper way, in an intensive way, as aging process advances, or you don't have to age to be miserable. Can be young and vitally youthful. And sometimes all memories start coming to your mind. And you don't realize things you remember, they become more and more intensified in your unconscious. You are strengthening the impressions of what you are remembering. So it is not an innocent project. So therefore, the ideal is to prepare your mind with increasing sattva in such a way that the mind can, if you are left alone or you have sufficient time for allowing your mind to operate in its own way, then let your mind gravitate to Ishwara smaranam. Turn to the pages of the Gita. Turn to some fascinating experience you had in satsanga. Turn to good thoughts which you may create as your project, to put them down and share with others. Or allow those good thoughts embellish all actions that you perform. Remember, that's called smaranam. Majority of mind is vishaya smaranam, vishaya chintan. Vishaya means objects of the senses, led by undisciplined mind. Sometimes you like just popcorns. Sometimes you like something else. Great things and small things, all mind indiscriminately goes on running after. That's Vishaya Chintan. And therefore, your intellect doesn't have the ability to remove illusion about thinking about objects. Ashochya nanvashochastvam. You are constantly thinking about things that are fading away, that will pass away. And then you wonder, why is it my mind is so weak? You give your mind things to think of, and all those things have no substance. And day and night the mind is occupied with those thoughts. What a wonder. What will happen if the mind were to become occupied with God? Say, God is too distant. But the fact is, therefore, you are lacking satsanga. God is closer than anything you can think of. Even when you go to sleep, God is carefully handling you from the toes to the head. Even a loving mother can't do that. Every cell within your body, every nerve process, every nadi, subtle channels, the impressions of the unconscious, all these are well arranged by God, who acts like a motherly secretary. Depending upon how your mind can be lifted up. If you allow your mind to be nourished by satsanga, then God is with me. I am a ray. And behold, everything that you do is because of the grace of God. Your eyes see, eyes are so slit. The world is so vast. But from all these impressions go on coming through your eyes. You go on admiring things of the world. We don't admire the eyes. All objects of the senses seem to stand out. The world seems to be massive reality. But what you don't realize, the entire world experience based on senses. And senses are operating through your personality. And behind all that there is God's presence, awareness, chaitanya. Therefore, if mind can be rendered satwic, you will have a constant awareness of God's presence. That's the ideal, to go after. The ideal is realized only in glimpses in the beginning. Even a drop of that understanding can thrill your mind and refresh you in a profound. So therefore, you go on enjoying satsanga, enjoying your sadhana day by day. Thereby you are training your mind to enjoy Ishwara chintan, Ishwara smaranam, instead of Vishaya chintan, which is a tremendous wastage of mental energy. Ishwara chintan, the profound enrichment in your soul. Even if you have done half an hour of japa during a day, even in a crude manner, you have accomplished something miraculous. And this point has understood more and more. So if you have improved upon the smriti aspect, I'm giving you how Shraddha has come to the third level. Smriti, smaran, Ishwara smaran, allowing your mind to think of God. Smriti leads you to samadhi. Samadhi is to step beyond the trial. Your mind is trapped in the seer, seen and sight. All realities of the world are based upon your viewing yourself as an individual, placed in a world. And you are experiencing the world through your mind and sense. You as an individual That's not the reality, because you have not asked the question, who am I? Your concept of I am is extremely based on ignorance. Your concept of the world is real. You don't have to turn to philosophy or spirituality. Ask the scientists. You look at the sky, say, how wonderful the sky is, blue. The scientists say your eyes are limited. Your eyesight can't penetrate beyond that. The blueness is just laughing at you, at your defect, at your weakness. The whole world that is experienced through the senses, that cannot be reality. So unreal you, living in an unreal world, do you think your experience has become real? Because minus and minus become plus. जो सपने सिर काटे कोई, बिनु जागे दुख दूर न होई. During dream, experience seems extremely real. Even if you have to experience something as torturous as being beheaded. However, when you wake up, you realize nothing happened. In the same way, samadhi is that process. It is beckoning your consciousness to go beyond the threefold limits. Suddenly you emerge beyond the limits of your mind and senses and discover, like a sky emerging out of clouds, and discover some expansive. That again comes in different degrees. So whatever little glimpse you have of outstepping your normal bounds of consciousness, the normal confines of consciousness, that's, you get a samadhi view. Intellect in each state goes on being embellished. If you have faith, your intellect has become little polished. It has more shine than usual. You have developed virya, internal spiritual and moral strength. Now your intellect has developed more sharpness about it. And you have a smaranam, smriti. That sharpness has become more unique. You don't have to bring it near an object to cut it. You just show it. Subject is cut. Dramatize. The illusion breaks. Your intellect now has become much more powerful. But when you have entered samadhi, and samadhi leading ultimately to the perfect samadhi, called sahaja samadhi. Sahaja samadhi means just like you are aware I am the body, you are aware I am the whole. Nothing in the universe can be taken away. Nothing from the ocean can be taken away. Ocean is ocean. The sky cannot be broken up. Your awareness cannot be split up. And that experience becomes a normal experience in your life. So therefore, a person who is enjoying that samadhi will not present himself always seated in a meditative pose. That type of practice of meditation and samadhi is disciplinary, which is a must for attaining that. But when you have attained the goal, it is It becomes a normal life for you, a life that can handle I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, I am all this, and handle all little reality. So Brahman never feels humiliated when he has to work for little cells within you, colorings of your eyes, your hair. Why should a sage who has become Brahman, why should he make distinctions? Any type of activity, according to the realities of the world, present themselves. Those who are in sahaja samadhi, they conduct themselves like any normal person. Remember the saying, देह धरे का दंड है सब काबू को होए, ज्ञानी भुगते ज्ञान से मूर्ख भुगते रोए. As long as you have physical body, it has its own way to go. Yoga and spiritual attainment is not meant to make the body fabulously fantastic. Some people have that idea, that suddenly your body will spring bounce like a bird. All those are gymnastics. They can be attained by psychic powers. But sahaja samadhi is different. It is a perpetual awareness, I am all, and conducting in the world which promotes loka sangraha. Whatever enlightened sages do becomes a source of inspiration for all. The effect of an enlightened sage on the world is beyond imagination. So when we talk about Shraddha, this is where you end up. Samadhi-based intellect that has emerged out of experiencing Samadhi, that intellect is no longer the same intellect. Ordinary intellect follows, a very devotee of science, follows the idea, brain and nervous system. All your experiences have to be explained in the terms of brain centers, nerves. Samadhi experience transcends. Just as any electrical bulb is presenting to you a little pinch of what electricity means. And all its electrical brilliance is extremely limited, depending upon the wiring. But the real electrical source is much beyond. In the same way, your nervous system is the wiring, bringing out only a pinch of what is possible in the divine, in higher level. If you are entered into Samadhi, you have transcended these wirings. You have another way of intuiting a profound experience. Therefore, sages may have externally, they may have very weak body. Ashtavakra was bent in eight bends. He may not be, but scriptures have highlighted it, so that it does become too physical conscious. That unless I am physically wonderful, I cannot attain Allah. So the scriptures say, even you have 8 bends, you will. Though there are many other meanings, I'm just giving you a simple meaning. This is what in the Gita I will read, Sthita Prajna. When you have attained that Prajna state and you are enjoying Sahaja Samadhi, what are your characteristics? What does it mean? Study the 2nd chapter of the Gita towards the end. Apuryamana machala prasishtham. You become like the ocean. All experiences of the world come without agitating you. All rivers flow into the ocean. The ocean is not agitated. All experiences come, and deep down, you have not gotten anything new. Nothing new exists in the world. And all experiences being illusions, they simply melt away. And what is day for the masses? It's a night for the sage. Or the night for the sage is day for the masses. People get confused about it. People have been asked me by email that does someone have some switch somewhere in the subtle nadi process? And so a sage knows where the switch is, he puts it on. That is not at all. Think of simple illustration. You are a grown-up person, a father or mother. You are playing with a child, trying to teach the child. The child shows so much interest in little things. And you also show interest. The child looks at you and thinks, before he gets it, I'm going to get it. He thinks that the grown-up ones are competing with him. So that's the reality, that's the day. Day means that's the reality. The grown-up bends down to that reality without losing the higher level. That gives you some idea of sahaja samadhi. The sages bend down to all experience, all things that are real in the world. Feeling the misery of others, feeling their joys, helping their expectations, all with very profound heart. And yet, he has outgrown all in his own experience. This is known as sthita prajna, that's the goal. And if you have attained it, that's highest bhakti. Day by day, that which you love most is your own self. You may say, no, I love everybody, not myself. I can even sacrifice myself. But go deep into it. All things that become dear to you on the basis of the self within. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. So therefore, that's instinctive within everyone. You are loving the self, but that love is confused. It's like a light that has a lot of veils around it. Through Shraddha, you have allowed that light to blossom, to unfold. So now, that love that sustains you, that you live by, without which you can't exist, that which you are instinctively looking for, now we have gained it in its perfection. The entire process is bhakti. Discovering love and instead of falling deep into it, rising with wings flying, rising beyond time and space. To be humorous, and then lying down in milky ocean. And with this we could do Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual growth. It's an honor to learn from the wisdom of Swami Jyotirmayananda. As we part for now, remember, the quest does not end. Take time to reflect on today's insights and integrate them into your life. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay present. The light within you is always shining.